Hi, James here, and welcome to a replay of Nightline from DubaiEye 103.8 FM, and this is an episode from January 2016. I was joined by Tess, an award-winning performance psychologist and an expert in how to quit smoking. The show took place January 6th, and we had callers calling in to share how they'd managed to stay from smoking. They'd kicked the habit some years ago, and they wanted to share their advice. And we had calls from people who were desperately trying to stay on the I don't want to smoke anymore bandwagon. Tess was there. She answered some questions. She offered some advice. Which brings me to 2025. Add in vapors, people who are still smoking, a few weed lovers. You know what? We got a bunch of people who are saying the same thing that folks were saying in 2016. They're saying, how do I stop smoking? Well, the advice Tess and the callers had in 2016 is as germane today as it was then. So sit back, enjoy, and have a listen to what Tess has to say. And contact details to her LinkedIn account are in the description. Enjoy the conversation.
Thought a few weeks ago I'd gotten an email and it said, hey, it was actually from Sarah, who is a colleague of yours at Babies and Beyond. And she said, I know someone who you need to talk to. And I said, man, New Year's? Or beyond? The statistics in the Middle East are pretty scary. When we start looking globally at smoking statistics, they're actually going up here. The number of smokers is going up. And I'm always looking at the fact that we say we live here with a very educated population. It makes no sense why you would smoke if you haven't know anything about cigarettes.
Absolutely, but it's the nicotine in the cigarettes that keep people addicted. And actually, the nicotine is more addictive than heroin and cocaine, believe it or not.
Yeah. That's scary.
So, yes, today we can talk about all these things, addictions, and how to help give up smoking, and your stories associated with smoking, and your New Year's resolution, how you are going to go about giving up smoking. That'd be great.
You've still got time. In fact, if you've started the process, it's only the 6th. Unfortunately, the statistics don't bode well for people giving up smoking. As you said, it is ultra addictive nicotine.
Absolutely.
And so the number of people who start that whole process of giving it up for New Year's and that hit the resolution, say, that's it, I'm not going to do it. And then eventually sort of, okay, I'm just going to have one. I'm just going to have two. And then you've got all the people you hang out with. Maybe you're at a club, maybe you're at home.
Absolutely, and these people can be your triggers, you know. Yes. They may want on the surface for you to not actually give up smoking. They're trying to encourage you, but actually inside they're like, no, I don't want you to give up smoking. So here, have another cigarette. And obviously in Dubai, cigarettes are so cheap.
Yeah, well, this is the other problem, isn't it?
Absolutely. I recently went to a brunch and I was with a huge heap of ladies who were drinking, and we had so much fun, and I was just observing how many cigarettes were smoked amongst them. And that's fine, if you want to smoke, that's fine, but you know, cigarettes are so cheap. So there's one particular lady who was smoking, and she offered a cigarette to somebody else who hadn't finished her cigarette, and she was like, no, take it, it's fine, it's free, you know, take it, because you know, it's so cheap to purchase cigarettes in Dubai.
Tess, I want to back up for a second. How did you get into this field?
Oh, well, I actually fell into it, actually. I was working in the UK. I did my Master's in Public Health Research from the University of Edinburgh, and there was a position that came up working alongside Charlton Football Club, which is a football club in Southeast London, and working alongside the NHS.
Thank you very much for clarifying that for me. There's a whole bunch of people right now who are listening, of course we know where that is.
Absolutely. And at that time, Charlton were in the Premiership, and they're not anymore. Many footballers probably know about that. But the collaboration was to help people through football to give up smoking. So smoking, and obviously a lot of people who are socially deprived actually do smoke because they feel it's something that they can do to kind of get rid of the stresses and pressures of life. So they take. Is
that a psychological thing, or is that for real?
It is a psychological thing. People step out and think, if I have a cigarette, I have me time. I don't want to think about all the stuff that's going on in my life, etc. So so we collaborated. I collaborated with Charlton and at the NHS, and I there was a project called Kick the Habit, which was wonderful. We worked with lots of people in the football club to provide motivating things for people to give up smoking, so free tickets. I used to run groups of 4 people who are smokers.
Okay.
Provided tea and coffee, and a nice environment for people to kind of bounce off of each other when they were smoking and how they smoked and why they wanted to give up smoking. And it was like a 7-week program, and at the end of it we had initially we had about 30 people who started on the group, and by the end of it we had about 27 people who quit.
Wow.
So that's
pretty good.
That was the beginning for me, and just to see the difference in their health and personalities when they gave up smoking was wonderful, and that was my drug. So I was hooked.
So you're hooked. And were you ever a smoker yourself?
Yes, when I was younger at university, yes, I did smoke. Yes,
okay.
My husband just recently found out I was a smoker actually, and he was like, "Really?" It's like, "Yeah." So yeah, I was. And when I smoked, I did it as a social thing, and then during the exam time, that's when I would light up and smoke for England, so to speak. And before I graduated, I kind of told myself I needed to give up smoking, and I did it cold turkey actually.
Okay.
And it didn't work.
Okay.
Surprisingly, statistically, only 2% of those people who try and give up cold turkey actually give up. So I tried again, and this time with NRT, that's nicotine replacement therapy, patches in particular, and it worked. And
so how long have you been cigarette free?
oh God, that would give away my age, wouldn't it?
More than 5 years.
Yes, more than that.
All right.
You're very kind, James.
Hold that thought, because we're going to head right to the phone lines. We've got Kashaf joining us. Kashaf joining us. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here, James. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Welcome to the program. You were talking to Esther, and you wanted to share your story about giving up smoking.
Correct.
Tell us. So, give us the story. How long were you a smoker, and what did you do?
See, I smoked for around 15 years.
Wow.
And 4 months ago, I quit suddenly.
Oh, well done.
Yep. But what happened? After quitting 4 months, I had a stroke of vertigo. I was driving a car on the Emirates Road, and I was D-track for almost 2 tracks. I was lucky nobody was behind me. I went to the doctor, consulted with them, and they suggested me some medicine. I tried it, but it didn't work. Then doctors asked me to smoke again.
The doctors asked you to start smoking so that you would get rid of the vertigo.
Oh, that's very bizarre.
Yes, and then I started again, and I'm fine right now.
So are you smoking again? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I started again, but literally 4 months, not a single stick.
Wow.
Okay. But do you think you'll try and give up again? But perhaps next time you use some sort of...
I was feeling so relaxed on those 4 months. I could breathe very easily.
Absolutely.
I was feeling fresh in the evening. But again, I started.
Yeah.
So, any suggestion?
Yeah, so what I would suggest is think of a quit date, something that you can work towards, and start planning for that. So, for example, you do want to give up smoking, so you can say this time next week, I'm going to give up smoking. So from now until next week, what you can do is smoke and think about everything associated with smoking, and then when that day comes, you stop it. And before you stop it, you go and get some NRT products. These are like nicotine replacement therapy. So at the top of the show, I mentioned that it's a nicotine that keeps you addicted to the cigarettes. So buying products like patches and whatnot, they give you a weaning effect. So they don't give you as much as you would get when you smoke a cigarette, but it helps your brain kind of go through the withdrawal without going crazy, if that makes sense. So also what you could do is combine that with behavioral therapy. So I work for Babies and Beyond, and what I do with my team is help people individually give up smoking. So we use cognitive behavioral therapy and counseling techniques, because when you smoke, it's not just about the physiological, hand to mouth and you just smoke, but it's also about the psychological aspects of smoking. And you mentioned you've been smoking for 15 years. That is a very long time. And you've probably got lots of associations with smoking and memories, good and bad. So it's kind of retraining your brain. So that's kind of stuff really does work, combining it. So you're 4 times more likely to nicotine replacement therapy and talking therapy.
Kashaf, what's been the reaction of your family once you had to start smoking again to help get rid of the vertigo?
Yeah, they were very happy. In fact, I was very happy. I was going and telling everybody I quit smoking after 15 years. I was quite happy. But literally, I got scared because of that stroke. Yeah. Then I started again.
Or were you a real heavy smoker, Kashaf? Were you?
Yeah. 20 cigarettes a day.
Whoa.
20, wow.
Wow, that's huge.
And when would you have your first cigarette? Is it as soon as you got up?
Sorry, when what?
When do you have your first cigarette? Is it as soon as you get up in the morning, or, afternoon?
No, not really. After my tea, after breakfast and tea.
After breakfast and tea. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest to you is when you want to break the habit of smoking is also changing your routine. And so for breakfast, you say you have tea and then you have a cigarette. Perhaps what you could do, or what you can plan for, is for the first week when you are trying to be smoke-free, have orange juice instead. Because I can tell you, as a fact, orange juice and cigarettes taste disgusting. Right? So that might be a nice thing for you to try.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay.
I'll definitely try that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us, and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Bye. Tess, this is really interesting because he was a smoker for 15 years. He gave up, and then after 4 months found he was having some reactions that his doctors traced back to possibly giving up smoking. He said, hold on, maybe we've got to slow down this process a little bit.
And maybe it's because he stopped so abruptly.
Maybe.
Perhaps. But that is quite bizarre. Usually when you do give up smoking, within 20 minutes, your heart rate goes back to normal, carbon monoxide disappears from your body, and, from like 2 to 12 weeks, your circulation improves. So, perhaps it was associated, perhaps it wasn't.
Tess Pereira is joining us. She's in studio. She's from Babies and Beyond, and she is a stop smoking expert. How do you build yourself?
I'm a public health specialist.
A public health specialist,
yes,
who has a tremendous amount of expertise in smoking and how to get you to give up the habit.
Absolutely.
If you want to get involved in the program,
call me.
Yeah, call us. Give us a call, 04-423-1010, SMS through to 4001. If you've got a story to share about how you kicked the habit, we want to hear about it. And if you've got a story about how you have been unable to kick the habit, maybe you've got some questions, maybe you want to share what you've been going through, give us a call. Get involved on the SMS line. We want to hear from you. This is your opportunity to get involved in the show. It is the call-in show. We want to talk to you about smoking. Have you been able to kick the habit? There's phenomenal statistics about the number of people that die. 1 person every 6 seconds from a tobacco-related disease. That's 10 people per minute worldwide. And just the numbers of people who are smokers and the revenue from the tobacco industry. In 2010, I have 2010 figures. I don't have the figures for the latest year. $664 billion were the revenues from the tobacco industry in 2010. They don't want you to quit.
No, they don't.
If you're wondering what we're doing, we want to hear from you. We want to share stories, your stories about being able to quit and what you did. If you did, hats off to you. It is hard. It can be very hard. But there's also a whole bunch of us, not myself included, but a whole bunch of you who've tried to quit and have been unable to do that. We want to hear from you. And I've got Tess Pereira joining us in the studio. She's from Babies and Beyond. She's a healthcare professional.
Hello.
Who is an expert in kicking this habit.
Absolutely.
And it's great to have you here. I've got some great texts that have come in. Mo wants to know, how about e-cigarettes? Are they considered a way to quit smoking?
E-cigarettes are illegal in the UAE.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You shouldn't, and you shouldn't smoke it here. But in the UK, people are using it as an aid to give up smoking, and it helps some people. But the jury is actually out because they haven't done enough testing to see which brand is the better brand. As you know, things that are made without any type of regulation, things can go wrong. There have been cases of the atomizer, and that's the the little thing inside that makes a liquid into gas that causes the vapor actually exploding, the actual charger exploding. So you have to be very careful when you get in these kind of devices, because they're not as approved as such. Then I would steer clear of it.
I find it unnatural to put anything in my mouth that it's, whether it's vapor or something that's flavored, and inhale it into my lungs where I know that there's going to be an air exchange and there is going to be some form of cellular reaction.
Absolutely, but again, it's the nicotine, and it's such a potent drug that people really, really are trying to give up via the cigarettes, and they're looking for alternative sources. And people use e-cigarettes and are using e-cigarettes, and it works for some people and it doesn't for others. Actually, to be honest, if you want to give up smoking, you have to be willing to give up smoking.
That's the number one thing, isn't it?
There is no magic pill, and there is no magic stick or vapor or e-cigarette to help you give up smoking if you're not willing to give up smoking.
This is the big question and the big issue that happens all the time, is if you're not willing to drop that habit, it's never going to happen.
Absolutely.
I know both of my parents quit smoking, but they really they had a reason to quit.
Absolutely.
And they did it. In fact, I remember my dad did it cold turkey. And
Oh.
he never went back.
Wow.
But he had to. It was like, you don't do this, you're toast.
Absolutely.
And there we go, powerful motivators. But you were also saying, because I was telling my own, we were talking off air about our story, and I grew up, my brother and I grew up in a household several years ago where smoking wasn't a bad thing, and smoking wasn't frowned upon, and my parents smoked, my dad smoked 4 packs a day in the house, out of the house, in the car, and my brother and I never took up smoking. And you were saying we're in the minority.
Absolutely. Statistically, they say that if the parents are smokers or someone in the house is a smoker, the child is 3 times more likely to become a smoker themselves. So if there are parents out there who are smoking and you don't want your kids to smoke, now is a good time to think about giving up smoking.
There we go. Tess, hold that thought, because we're going to go to line 5. We've got Hedi joining us. And you've got a story. You've tried to give up smoking several times, but just have not been able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But first thing, I want to comment on the way you pronounce my name. It's actually very rare that somebody can pronounce my name correctly like you did.
Wow, thank you very much. You're probably the first person I've ever pronounced her name correctly.
Usually they go with the different ways of pronouncing it, and they have some difficulty in doing it.
Well, there you go.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Share your story of trying to quit. What have you tried to do, and where has this left you now? Maybe Tess can offer you some advice as well.
Yeah, well, I've been smoking since maybe 19 years now, regularly, but not a really heavy smoker, maybe 5-6 per day usually. That's what I'm doing. And sometimes I would go 2-3 days without smoking, but maybe 2 times during the past 10 years I was able to quit for 2-3 months.
Okay.
But then I used to go back to it, usually because of work and the stress of work and the surrounding people that are with me. Usually they're smoking, so
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's the stress. You feel stressed, and if people are smoking around you and freely offering it to you, sometimes when you're weak, what do? You just pick up the cigarette and think, okay, no, I'm just going to smoke now. Yeah.
And most of those times it wasn't only the stress of work itself. Let's say some issues, social issues, family issues, some relationship problems, and when you hit rock bottom because of the sensation, the feelings, and the emotions, so it's like kind of try to find a way to get away from it. Yeah. By holding a cigarette or feeling the effect of a cigarette. Yeah. Even though once I smoke, I start having a very mild headache, some dizziness, some nausea, mild nausea. Yeah. And if I go above 6 or 5-6 cigarettes a day, then I become really, really sick, and I end up throwing up.
So that's the carbon monoxide affecting your body. So it's taking place, taking over the oxygen content in your body. So that's making you lightheaded and headachy and dizzy and all sorts. So what I would suggest, like with the previous caller, if you want to do want to give up smoking, you need to start thinking about a quit date. And when you've decided, you need to prepare yourself. Life, so many things happen in life. Like you said, family things, work things. It's all about preparation, and that's the key. You need to perhaps do role plays in your head. For example, if this happens, am I going to pick up a packet of cigarettes and smoke a cigarette? Or am I going to go and distract myself? Or am I going to go and talk to somebody about my issues and try and resolve it without picking up a cigarette? It's all about mentally preparing yourself and having some tactics to kind of delay the urge.
Do you think in his case, in nicotine replacement therapy might also be something that he wants to think about?
Absolutely. I am a huge advocate for nicotine replacement therapy, as well as other products like Zyban, and you can get Champix also. And these products also help with cravings and help with smoking cessation, trying to give up smoking. It really does help if you're willing.
Yeah, it sounds like you want to give it up. I mean, especially when you start talking about all the things.
Yeah, I really feel bad once I have a cigarette. Even one will make me feel dizzy and really down.
Yeah.
But I have something. It's like more, not an OCD, but it's more a trait, an obsessive compulsive trait. That I have certain rituals during the day that I have to be doing, and if I don't do, then I'll be feeling a bit restless during
that
the
is
day.
quite interesting, actually. So when you try to give up smoking, that's one of the things that I encourage all my clients to do, is to change your rituals and routines, because it just retrains your brain. For example, when we spoke to the gentleman earlier, he said he had a cigarette and a cup of tea. Now, if you wake up and have a glass of orange juice and a cigarette, it just retrains your brain. Saying, actually, this doesn't taste nice, so I don't like it. For example, if you're driving on Sheikh Zayed Road and you get to a certain point and you light up, actually, instead of lighting up, perhaps you can chew a chewing gum. NRT, they provide nicotine replacement gum also, or take a different route, take a sip of water at the time when you would smoke. Because I employ these techniques. It's called the 4Ds, right? When you feel that urge to smoke, distract yourself. Delay the fact that
I've been
you're
doing
gonna
that,
smoke.
distracting myself and trying to delay a little bit.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I've been doing lately is that I don't smoke in my car.
Good.
I don't like smoking in my car, so I don't smoke. Even if my trip goes for 2 hours, if I want to smoke, I'll have to stop on the side of the road, have a cigarette. And just knowing that stopping on the side of the road would delay me 15, 20 minutes, so I usually delay stopping on the side of the road. And I've tried something similar to the orange juice. I would have maybe like a green apple in the morning for breakfast. And my experience is like they don't combine.
Yeah.
But I don't have a cigarette until I arrive at work. So this is the thing. I wake up, I go to work. It usually takes me 45 to 50 minutes to get there. Once I get there, I sit in my car, wait a little time. And it's during that time that in the morning that I would have to say, okay, let's have one now before starting work. And then after some time, maybe 2-3 hours, I'll have another one.
So, when you say to yourself, so when you say to yourself, okay, I'm at work now, I'm going to have one, why don't you say, actually, I'm not going to have one now, I'm not going to smoke today?
Yeah.
Can you try and tell yourself that? Because it's actually about mentally preparing yourself not to smoke. Because when you tell yourself you're not going to actually saying it out loud, right? So you can have a mantra. See, this is one of the things I talk about when I talk with clients. It's about, I use CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. So have a mantra. So, for example, you can say, today I'm not going to smoke. Today is a smoke-free day. I will not smoke today.
Yeah.
So you're saying it 3 times to yourself, and when you say it out loud, it makes it more real. So perhaps you can try something like that. And also together with using nicotine replacement therapy really does help. You're 2 times more likely to quit using NRT than doing it by yourself. Actually.
Well, you know what? I look forward to hearing how you make out with this, and it sounds like you've got the mindset to put it all in motion. Now, as you said, changing some of the habits along the way, it sounds like you're going to be well on your way.
Good luck.
I hope so.
Hey, thank you very much for joining and sharing with us.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
This is Nightline. We're talking about smoking. We've got lots of texts coming in, and one that reminds us about shisha as well and some of the issues with that. We're going to get to all those texts in just a moment. If you want to get involved in the program, if you want to share your experiences, have you managed to give up smoking? We want to hear from you. We want to hear your story. If you're not, if you're in the other camp and you've been unable to give up smoking, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories. And Tess is here. She's from Babies and Beyond. She's a healthcare professional. She is a smoking cessation expert. Mm-hmm. She's more than happy to have a conversation and share some of her experiences in the field as well, and possibly she can get you one step ahead to giving up smoking. A whole bunch of texts are coming through. We're going to get to them all, I promise. And the question that we're dealing with this evening is smoking. We want to hear from you. If you've managed to quit, and if you're on the other side of the fence and you just can't seem to quit, we want to hear from you. Maybe we can help you. Not me, but Tess Pereira. She's here. She's a healthcare professional who's an expert in smoking cessation. She's been working on this for years. Lots of experience both with individual clients and in groups. She's right here in Dubai. She's at babiesandbeyond.ae if you want to go find them online.
Call me.
Yeah, call her. We'll give you all those details in just a second. It's that simple. And this is an issue that many people are dealing with, and it's almost a family affair. And this is that, you watch people, you watch your cousins and brothers and aunts and grandparents and parents who are caught with this habit. And in my own case, my father, complications from smoking is what led to his death. So it's like, man, this has a huge impact on our society as well. And some of the numbers, we haven't even talked about the chemical compositions of cigarettes, like 4,000 chemicals once you start burning stuff.
Absolutely. 69 cause cancer.
There we go. Who wants to be breathing in carcinogens? These are the things we try to steer clear of. And when you smoke, you're just sucking them in. Crazy. Let's head back to the phone lines. Line 7, we have Sandra joining us. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, James, and good evening, Tess. Thank you so much. Hi. My name is Sandra Andrews, and I want to share an experience of my dad.
Please.
Asif Andrews. Yeah, it's like, I've only heard this from my mother. When I was in her stomach, when I was still not yet born, my dad had the willpower to quit smoking because of me.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I find that very inspiring, and motivating for those who are trying to quit smoking. Because it's always said, if there's a will, there's a way.
Was your mother instrumental in saying to your father, hey, you know what, we've got a child coming into this world, this is not going to float?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
My mom tells me stories. It was like before I was there in her stomach, he used to be a really heavy smoker. He used to be smoking for almost 15 years, I guess.
Wow.
And, my mom says that he had been smoking 2, 3, or 5 packets maybe per day.
Wow.
Is he still quit?
He quit.
Is he still a non-smoker?
Yes, he is
wonderful.
Still a non-smoker. And I'm 16 years and still now he's completely quit.
Your daddy loves you very much.
Yes, most definitely. When I was born, he completely quit. He would just, try to completely remove the smoking, cigarettes, all from my life.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because he thought that would put me in danger.
Absolutely, and your dad was right. Passive smoking does affect so many people. Even if you stop smoking, the cigarette smoke lingers in the room for about 2.5 hours thereafter, even with the window open. So your dad was very right to actually give up smoking.
Even though my mother used to hate smoking, she used to try and hide his cigarette packets, but nothing worked.
How did that
go?
But
because of me, he stopped it.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
That's really a relief. Even though I can say that maybe when we go for parties, which is really, really rarely, he maybe has a puff, just a puff. He never finishes a cigarette. And that's like in years.
Okay. Wow.
So I'm really happy for him, and
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Only thing I would say, when your dad does take a puff, sometimes it only takes a puff to go back to the smoking thing. So he just needs to be a little bit careful when it comes to taking that little puff.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But then the thing is, I'm trying to say is that he has such a good control over himself. Even I can't believe it, but he does. and it's like in months or in years he has this single puff, but that's fine. He never goes back to it. I know him.
That's wonderful.
It's really a very happy thing for me.
Sandra, thank you very much for sharing that with us. Have a great evening.
Wonderful story.
Yeah, and hats off to your father.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
That's a great story, isn't
Absolutely.
it? And again, if you want to quit smoking, you have to have a reason.
Absolutely.
You have to want to quit. And if you want to quit, you can do it.
It's very inspiring, that story, actually. Very good.
Here's an opposite story. Text has come in, and it says, my husband smokes 2 packs a day for the past 25 years. I have tried to persuade him to stop, but with no success. It seems that he just does not want to stop smoking, and I guess that's the key. He doesn't want to. What do you do in such cases, especially when you know that this is becoming a significant danger to his health? I'm losing hope.
Well, I think, to be honest, your husband really does enjoy smoking, and that's why he doesn't want to give up. And you can encourage people, your loved ones, to give up smoking, but if they are not willing, they will not give up smoking. As simple as that. I mean, some people may pay lip service and say, okay, I'm going to go and talk to somebody about giving up smoking, and reluctantly trudge along to these groups or one-to-one sessions and say, okay, I'm going to give up smoking, but actually secretly smoking behind our backs. So actually the best thing you can do is to plant the seed, and I know you're doing that by encouraging him slowly to give up smoking. But yes, one day the penny may drop and he may think, you know what, it's time for me to give up.
So don't lose hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Until then, just keep chugging away.
Here's another one that's come through from someone who just couldn't pick up the habit. It said, in 1982 and then again in 1984, I tried smoking. I tried to learn to smoke, and I failed. I could not smoke a single cigarette, nor could I to this day. I can't understand why people smoke to start with, this message says.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well done.
Another one says, it's worth mentioning that the World Health Organization has done a study that says exposure to chemicals and products of combustion from one shisha is equivalent to up to 300 cigarettes. How is this still legal, is the question. And
absolutely. Well, the education, unfortunately, isn't here, or in other places like the UK, and people think smoking shisha is fine because the water actually gets rid of purifies any of the gases and the smoke. Actually, no. Actually, you do get up to 36 times more tar in a 45-minute session of smoking shisha than you would smoking one single cigarette.
I didn't realize that.
It is really, really potent, and we're slowly educating people, especially young kids, James. They're doing it for a social thing, and you can go to all these shopping malls and you can smell
at lunchtime. I love the smell of it.
And it smells gorgeous, doesn't it? Because they put lots of things that entice you to go and smoke, like strawberries and apples, and actually it smells like smoothies, and it seems healthy.
Like that good old pipe tobacco that I remember people used to. I mean, there are still pipe smokers now, but there was all that cherry blossom.
Absolutely.
Oh, it smelled beautiful.
I know, it smells so nice. Actually, it is really quite bad.
So yeah, exactly. Think twice. If you're inhaling stuff, it can't be good. Dan's texted through and says, I reduced smokes over 2 months, over a 2-month period. Stopping was a birthday gift to myself.
Oh, wonderful. Well done.
I still can't taste or smell well, and this is my biggest regret in life. I'm smoke-free for 3.5 years.
Oh, congratulations.
So 3.5 years, but he still is having issues with taste and smell.
That will come back eventually, but you have to remember you've been coating your tongue in all that tar and all the chemicals, and it does take a bit of time for your body to kind of readjust and regroup.
3.5 years, though?
Not really. It shouldn't take that long, but, there are cases,
04-423-1010 is our phone number. You can SMS 4001. We're talking about smoking. Have you managed to quit? We want to hear from you. We want to hear your story. If you have been unable to quit, we want to hear your stories as well. Get involved. Tess is here in studio, and she's an expert in smoke cessation. Quitting is what she's an expert in, and she can walk you through it. She's got some great advice. Get involved. And Tess Pereira is joining us in studio from Babies and Beyond, and she is an expert on how to quit smoking, and that's what we're talking about this evening. Some interesting text coming through. Pramad has come in and said, I smoked only 6 months during my youth. In order to give up, I used to blow smoke on tissue paper, and looking at thick, dark tar circles on the tissue, I used to tell myself, look, this is what it's going to be doing in your lungs, and I used to eat chewing gum to divert attention.
Yeah, chewing gum's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah. Another text has come through from somebody whose father died because of smoking, and now their mother is having some lung issues. And they're saying, you know what? The moral of this story is stay away from smokers and don't go to shisha places, because you never know what's going to happen in the long run.
Absolutely.
Another one says, ex-smoker testimony here, slightly different approach to quitting. If I can reach out to one listener and maybe help them quit, it would be worth it. So we'll see if we can get them on the line. And it's interesting when you start looking at these issues of smoking and what it takes to give up and how hard it can be. We got another caller here lined up on, you never know. Let's go to this phone line, see line 3. Good evening, welcome to Nightline.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So, we're talking about smoking. Do you have a story to share with us?
Absolutely, yes. I have been a chain smoker, and I have quit smoking a few years back, so it took a little bit of a will to do that, yeah.
So how did you quit? Did you just go cold turkey, or did you have a plan?
I had a plan, because it used to, like when I used to smoke, I had a non-smoking office, non-smoking whole premises.
Okay.
So I used to feel so bad when I had to step out of the building, stand in the sun to smoke some cigarette. Then at that moment I realized that I should have a strong will. I should not be a prisoner of smoking. I have to go out of the building. I have to stand there. I have to smoke. I used to smoke about 2 packets a day. Then I quit. And I definitely know that it damages your health.
Absolutely.
I had a little bit of an issue with the heart and all that at a later stage, which I came to know it was a reason of this.
Wow. And so how long have you been smoke-free?
It's almost now close to 4.5 years, 5 years.
And and have you ever just felt like, I just want to smoke again?
Well, sometimes you feel like, smoking sometimes it comes back sometimes, but not so much that you really want to go back. Because I have seen, definitely people need to know that whosoever smokes, it damages your health.
Yeah.
It definitely damages your health. All the smokers who've been smoking it at some point of time in life, people who are active, who work out, if you have an issue with your heart and all that, if you're active, you will definitely come to know. But if you're not very active, you've been smoking, you're a potato couch, you sit on it, you don't know what is happening. And then it's an all of a sudden one attack from somewhere. And it's too late at that time. So people need to know that it is a poison which is accumulating inside your body, and it will react at some point of time. I regret that I used to smoke and I was not
Can I just
active.
ask you, when you started smoking, did you know that smoking can cause so many illnesses like cancer and cardiovascular disease? Did you know when you started smoking?
Well, I started at a very young age. I was not fully aware of it. But then, at that time, college and university time, you feel like, so what? I mean, like all these kind of people talk about it. Yeah, exactly. But then later on, when you go along in life, then you start studying, and it's your own will. You have to yourself realize it, that it's damaging your health, and you have to quit, because no matter how much your loved one, son, father, daughter, everybody advises you, you will not listen to it.
Absolutely.
So whenever, like when I said that I have to step out of a building, I have to stand in the sun, 48-degree temperature to smoke a cigarette, so it's like, you're just a prisoner of these circumstances. Your will should be stronger than that.
Congratulations on kicking it, 4.5 years. Hats off. We're you've done a great job, and I think you're an inspiration to others. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry, I've got to let you go.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, great story, isn't it?
Absolutely.
When you hear these,
it's very inspiring.
And I think getting inspired from others, even inspired from others who've been less successful, I think hearing failure stories can also be inspiring to say, okay,
Absolutely,
you know what?
Because it's all a learning curve. That's what life is about.
We've got one last caller really quickly, an ex-smoker who went a slightly different approach to quitting, but you managed to quit. Welcome to the program. I would love to hear your story.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Just in a nutshell, picked it up at about 13, 14, which is on that high school adolescent stage, and smoked for about 8-9 years till about 23, 24.
Okay.
And everyone that smokes, just picking up on that last conversation, everyone that smokes knows it's not necessarily good for you, or it's actually terrible for you. But sometimes just knowing it doesn't really do much to actually help quitting. So you have so many cues with your friends, and as the previous caller was saying, in the building, and certain things that just trigger the want. Something that helped me particularly, and I have no interest in this at all, but there was a book that I read that helped me change the way I perceive the habit itself.
Is that the Alan Carr book?
Of people, yeah, the Alan Carr book.
Okay.
So you beat me to it. So basically, a lot of people convince themselves that they actually enjoy it, and they say that I actually enjoy this habit. I enjoy smoking a cigarette. But this book kind of helps you rationalize really what's behind the scenes, if you will, subconsciously or whatnot. At least personally, it really helps me see the habit itself differently.
Yep.
And if someone else out there gets a chance, they can keep smoking while they read the book. If they can actually just read it and see if it is for them, it helps. It did help me a lot. Then so be it. I also had the chance that I actually had a full move into a new city when I moved here, and I just basically said, when I move to Dubai, I'm quitting, and thank God it's been 3.5 years from that. So if anyone else can take some type of, I wouldn't use inspiration, but just basically influence from that book, I think that would probably pay off.
Yeah, actually, I think Alan Carr's book is actually very interesting, and it talks about the nicotine monster on the shoulder. And when you're trying to give up, what happens is the nicotine monster goes to sleep, and then if you don't kind of feed the nicotine monster, it just kind of dies. But it's always being conscious and being aware that one cigarette is enough for it to reawaken and for you to get back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The one thing that, because I'm from an NHS background and we work on best practice, studies have shown that, yes, you can go cold turkey and you can use the Alan Carr book, and it's helped millions of people. But actually, going cold turkey is very difficult. It's only about 2% of people who try to give up smoking who actually give up smoking.
And yet we've got another. We've had those 2% calling into this program. It's fantastic,
you know what?
isn't it?
Fantastic. It is fantastic. But they say if you want to give up smoking and stay quit for longer, it's better to do it with NRT.
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much for sharing that,
Thank you.
and really appreciate you joining the program. Something happened there. We were getting the lightsabers were happening. Yeah. But thank you very much for sharing that. And Alan Carr book sounds like it is something that folks might want to read and get a feel for. A couple more quick texts. One says, I was an avid smoker and started at age 14 and quit smoking at age 44. Sometimes I don't feel like smoking again. It's been 5 months since I've quit.
Well done.
And alhamdulillah, I quit as my 9-year-old daughter wanted me to quit and wouldn't eat her meals in retaliation, and I eventually quit. I feel my breath was cleaner than before now. So
emotional blackmail.
Yeah, exactly. Another one says we should just ban production of them. Hatem says outright. We know that they're not good for us.
If only.
Yeah. It's a huge revenue generator.
Absolutely.
This is a big thing. And so another one that says, well, my story is simple. I smoked for 13 years. I quit the day my daughter was born in June 17th, 2013. I used to smoke the TGE local Metahuaca thing. The whole idea is about having a strong will and never getting addictive to anything in particular. Divert your mind, and with more activities, an empty mind is the devil's workshop.
Indeed.
There we go. And if you want to get in touch with Tess, as I said, she as I've been saying for the last hour, you're an expert in the field of giving up smoking. And sometimes we just need a little bit of help.
Absolutely.
And if we can get that help, why not get it?
Yes, and I can help you on your smoke-free journey.
There
we can do it together.
Tess, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to all the folks at Babies and Beyond who said, hey, you got to get Tess into your studio. We had a lot of fun. So thank you, Sarah, for the great suggestion. And thanks to everyone who got involved on the SMS line and the phone lines, sharing your stories, both positive and negative. Absolutely appreciate it. That's what makes this show work.
You were listening to a rebroadcast of a program that I recorded in January 2016, and I was speaking with Tess Pereira, award-winning performance psychologist and smoking cessation expert, about just that, how to quit smoking and stay quit. Does that even make sense? Hope you enjoyed. Her details are in the description below. More to come. Love to get your comments. Thank you very much for listening. My name's James Pikeway. So long for now.